Welcome to another slow breathing of the night. Tonight's story kindles gently from the heart of a wooden house, where a woman wakes alone, and the fire remembers what warmth means. It lingers in the hush of wool and ash, where every rhythm is slower now, and solitude becomes something sacred, something hers. The wind walks past the walls, carrying salt, memory, and waiting, while inside hands tend the hearth, and a voice begins to bloom, all her own. Let your breath soften. Let the longhouse hold you, and if this quiet firelight brings you peace, you might consider subscribing or telling us where and when you're listening from. Now, wrap yourself in warmth and let the night settle gently into you. The morning comes gray, like all mornings here by the water. I wake and his arm is still across my ribs, heavy, warm. But today his arm will lift. Today his feet will touch the floor and walk away from me. The ship waits. I know this without looking. I have felt it calling to him in his sleep. The way his breathing changed 3 nights ago. The way his hands moved differently across my skin. Already sailing, already gone, but not yet, not quite yet. His eyes open, blue like the deep water past the rocks. He looks at me, and I see the leaving in them, the pull of wind and sail and far places. I do not speak. There are no words for this moment. The space between staying and going, between his body here beside me and his body somewhere on the whale road, somewhere I cannot follow. He rises, slow, like he is lifting something heavy. Maybe he is. Maybe leaving is always heavy. I watch his back, the way his shoulders move, the scars from the last voyage, white lines across brown skin, stories written in flesh that I read with my fingertips in the dark. Pea pulls on his woolen breeches, his tunic, his leather belt with the iron buckle his father made. Each piece of clothing is a step away from me, a step toward the ship. I sit up, the furs fall away from my chest. The morning air touches my skin, cold, sharp. I reach for my underdress. The wool is soft from many washings, soft from being worn close to my body through so many nights. So many nights, but not this night. Tonight the wool will hold only me. I dress slowly. There is no hurry now. The ship will wait. The tide will wait. Everything waits for this moment to be finished, for this leaving to be complete. My overdress, brown wool, dyed with oak bark. It smells of smoke and sea salt and the sheep that gave their fleece for it. I wrap my belt around my waist, leather, worn, soft, the bronze buckle cold against my fingers. He is ready now, standing by the door, his sea chest at his feet, his weapons, his extra cloak, everything he needs to live without me, everything that will keep him warm when I cannot. He looks at me, I look at him. There should be words, there should be promises, safe journeys, quick returns, all the things women say when men go to sea. But my throat is quiet, my hands are quiet. I walk to him, he reaches for me, his palms cup my face, rough skin, calloused from rope and oar and axe handle. I lean into the touch, I breathe him in, leather and wool and something else. Something that is just him, just the scent of his skin. His forehead touches mine. We stand like this, breathing the same air, sharing the same warmth, for just a moment more. Then he lifts his head. He picks up his chest. He opens the door. The morning light spills in, grey and cool and full of wind. I follow him out into it. The settlement is stirring. Other wives, other parting. I see Astrid by her door. Her husband's ship leaves too. She nods to me. Her eyes understand. We do not need to speak. The children run between the houses, excited. For them this is adventure. For them the ships are wooden dragons carrying their fathers to distant shores, to silver and amber and stories that will last through winter. For us it is different. For us it is the sound of oars pulling away. We walk toward the shore. The path is familiar under my feet, packed earth. Stones worn smooth by countless footsteps. I have walked this path so many times, to fetch water, to mend nets, to watch for returning sails. Today I walk it to say goodbye. The ship is there, waiting, long and low in the water. The dragon head carved at the prow stares out toward the open sea. Its wooden eyes painted blue, its wooden mouth open in an eternal roar. The men are loading the last of the supplies, barrels of fresh water, sacks of dried fish, coils of rope, everything they need for the journey to the trading places across the water. My husband's sea chest goes aboard, his weapons, his cloak. Piece by piece he transfers himself from land to ship, from my world to the world of wind and wave. The other wives gather. We stand in a small group at the water's edge, our shawls pulled tight against the morning wind, our faces turned toward the ship, watching, always watching. The children play in the shallows. They splash and laugh and build little boats from driftwood. Their laughter mingles with the sound of waves on pebbles, with the creak of rope and timber, with the calls of the men as they prepare to leave. I close my eyes. I try to hold this moment, the sound of his voice calling orders to the crew, the sight of his hands on the rigging, the way he moves on the deck like he was born to it, which maybe he was, maybe all of them were, born to leave, born to leave, born to sail away and leave us standing on the shore with our empty arms and our quiet houses. The sail unfurls, white wool stretched between wooden poles. It catches the wind and fills. The ship moves, slowly at first, just a gentle pulling away from the shore. The men at the oars, steady and strong, the rhythm of their rowing like a heartbeat, like my heartbeat, fast and hard and full of something I cannot name. He stands at the stern, looking back at me. I raise my hand, he raises his, and then the ship is moving faster, the sail full of wind, the oars pulling in time, the dragon head cutting through the water toward the horizon. I watch, the other wives watch, the children wave and shout, but the ship grows smaller and smaller, until it is just a white speck against the grey sky, until it is nothing, until the sea is empty again. The other wives begin to leave. One by one they turn away from the water, back to their houses, back to their daily work, back to the business of living without their men. But I stay. I stand at the water's edge until the sun is higher, until the morning grey gives way to pale blue, until my feet are cold in my leather shoes, and my hands are numb inside my mittens. The wind smells of salt, of fish, of seaweed drying on the rocks. It smells of distance, of places I will never see, places where he is going without me. A wave washes over my feet, cold water seeping through the leather, soaking my wool stockings. The shock of it makes me step back, makes me remember where I am, who I am. I am Freydis. I am the woman who stays. I turn away from the sea. I walk back up the path, past the other houses, past the workshop where the blacksmith hammers iron into tools, past the weaving shed where the women work their looms, past all the life of the settlement, to my own door, my own threshold, my own quiet house. I open the door and step inside. The fire has burned low. The room is dim, cool, empty. I close the door behind me. The sound echoes in the space, hollow, final. I am alone now. The house feels different without him, larger somehow. The shadows deeper, the corners more distant. I walk to the hearth. I kneel and blow on the coals, add kindling, small twigs that catch and flare, then larger pieces, oak, birch. The fire grows. Light spreads across the room, across the sleeping bench where we spent our last night together, across the wooden chest where I keep my clothes, across the loom where I weave our cloth. Everything is the same. Everything is different. I sit on the wooden stool by the fire. I pull my knees up to my chest, wrap my arms around them, feel the warmth of the flames on my face. Outside the wind is picking up. I can hear it in the eaves, in the thatch. A low moaning sound that speaks of weather coming, of storms building out on the water where his ship now sails. I close my eyes. I try not to think of waves, of wind tearing at the sail, of water washing over the deck. Instead, I think of this, of warmth, of safety, of solid earth beneath my feet, and wooden walls around me. I think of the rhythm of my own breathing, in, out, steady, calm. The fire crackles, bylog shifts and sends up sparks. They dance for a moment in the air before dying, like tiny stars, like brief lights in the darkness. I open my eyes. The room is warm now, golden with firelight. I uncurl from the stool, stretch my arms above my head, feel the pull in my back, in my shoulders. My body is stiff from sitting, from holding myself so tight. I need to move, to do something with my hands. I go to the loom. The half-finished cloth hangs there. Grey wool, plain weave. Nothing fancy, just good, strong fabric for everyday clothes. I sit on the bench. I take up the shuttle. I begin to weave, over, under, over, under. The rhythm is soothing, familiar. My hands know this work, have done it since I was a girl learning at my mother's side. The shuttle passes through the threads. The beater pushes each row tight against the last. Slowly the cloth grows, thread by thread, row by row. I work in silence. The fire burns. The wind blows, and somewhere out on the water his ship carries him away from me. But here, in this room, in this moment, there is only the work, only the steady rhythm of weaving, only the growing cloth beneath my hands. The morning passes. I do not eat. I do not stop to rest. I weave until my back aches, until my fingers are sore from gripping the shuttle, until the light from the smoke hole begins to fade. Then I set the work aside. Pie. I prepare a simple meal. Dried fish, barley bread, ale from the jug in the corner. I eat slowly, chewing each bite carefully, tasting nothing. The food is fuel, nothing more. Something to keep my body working while my heart learns to beat without him. Outside, the wind grows stronger. It rattles the door, whistles through gaps in the walls. The storm that was building has arrived. Rain begins to fall. I can hear it on the roof, on the walls, a steady drumming that fills the silence. Good weather for staying inside, for tending the fire, for settling into the long night ahead. I finish eating. Pie, clear away the wooden bowl, the cup. I bank the fire so it will burn through the night. Then I sit again by the hearth, just sit and listen to the rain, to the wind, to the sound of my own breathing in the quiet room. The storm will pass. Morning will come, and I will still be here, waiting, as women have always waited, as I will wait until he returns. The fire burns lower. The room grows dim. I do not light the oil lamp. I like the darkness. It feels right, appropriate, like a cloak that matches my mood. I close my eyes. I let the sounds of the storm wash over me. Rain on thatch, wind in wood, the small sounds of a house settling into night. My breathing slows. My body relaxes. For the first time since I watched his ship disappear, I feel something like peace. Not happiness, not joy, but peace. The peace of acceptance, of letting go, of settling into what is instead of fighting what was. He is gone. I am here. This is how it is. This is how it has always been. This is how it will be until he returns. The fire burns to coals. The room grows cool. I should bank it properly, add more wood, prepare for the night. But not yet, not quite yet. I want to sit here a little longer, in the dim light, in the quiet, in the space between day and night, between being together and being alone, in this moment that belongs only to me. The wind gusts. Rain spatters against the walls. Somewhere out there his ship rides the storm. But I cannot help him now. Cannot hold the sails steady or bail the water from the deck. Cannot do anything but trust. Trust the ship. Trust the crew. Trust him. Trust him. Trust that he will find his way across the whale road and back to me. All I can do is wait, and waiting begins now, in this room, by this fire, with this storm raging outside and this silence growing inside. I open my eyes. The coals glow red in the darkness, like tiny suns, like the last light before sleep. I stand. My legs are stiff from sitting, my back sore. Thigh stretch. Feel my spine lengthen, my ribs expand. I am still here, still whole, still breathing. That is enough. For now, that is enough. I tend the fire properly, add wood, arrange the logs so they will burn slowly through the night. The flames leap up, light fills the room again. But it is different light now. Night light, sleep light. The kind of light that says the day is finished. The kind of light that says rest is coming. I walk to the sleeping bench. I smooth the furs, arrange the pillows. This is where we spent our last night, where his body warmed mine, where his breathing mixed with mine in the darkness. Tonight it will hold only me, but it will still hold me, still keep me warm, still give me rest. I sit on the edge of the bench. I remove my shoes, my stockings. My feet are pale in the firelight, cold from the day's walking. I rub them with my hands, work warmth back into the flesh. Feel the blood flow return, life returning, warmth returning. I lie back against the pillows, pull the furs up to my chin. The weight of them is comforting, heavy, secure, like being held. I close my eyes, listen to the storm, to the fire, to my own heart beating in my chest, steady, strong, alive. Tomorrow I will wake, I will tend the fire, I will weave, I will cook, I will live. But tonight I will rest. Tonight I will let the storm rage outside, while I lie safe and warm inside. Tonight I will begin the long practice of sleeping alone. The room dims, my hands are still. I sink into the warmth. I sleep. I wake in darkness. The fire has burned to ash and ember. The room holds only the faintest glow. Red light that barely touches the walls, barely touches my face. But I am warm. Under the furs, my body has made its own heat. My own small sun beneath reindeer hide and wool. I stretch under the covers, feel my muscles lengthen, my joints wake. Outside the storm has passed. No more rain on the roof, no more wind rattling the door, just silence. The deep quiet that comes after weather, after the sky has emptied itself and moves on. I do not rise yet. I lie still and listen to the quiet, to the sound of my own breathing, to the small settling sounds the house makes in the pre-dawn darkness. These are the hours I have always loved, the space between night and morning, when the world holds its breath, when everything pauses before the day begins. When I was a child, I would wake like this early, while my parents still slept. I would lie in my bed and listen to the house around me, to my father's deep breathing, my mother's softer sighs, the way the wooden beams creaked as they cooled from the day's warmth. I felt held then, surrounded, part of something larger than myself. Now I wake to different sounds, or no sounds, just my own breathing, my own heartbeat, the solitary rhythm of one person alone in space meant for two. But there is something peaceful in it too, something that is just mine. This darkness, this quiet, this moment before the day asks anything of me. I pull the furs closer around my shoulders, tuck my chin down into the warmth, breathe in the smell of home, of wool and wood smoke, and the faint scent of whale oil from the lamp, of him still here in the bedding, still lingering in the space where his body lay, faint now, growing fainter, but still here. I breathe it in, hold it, let it go. The fire needs tending. I know this without looking, can feel the coolness creeping in around the edges of the room, the way the air has changed from warm to merely not cold. Soon it will be truly cold, and I will need to rise, to blow on the coals, to add kindling, to bring the fire back to life. But not yet, not quite yet. I want to stay here a little longer, in this cocoon of warmth, in this space between sleeping and waking, in this moment that belongs only to me. My hand finds the place where he slept. The furs are cool there now, cool and smooth and empty. I press my palm flat against the spot, try to feel some lingering warmth, some echo of his presence. But there is nothing, just the neutral temperature of things left alone. Put up space that is no longer shared. I pull my hand back, curl it against my chest. Feel my own warmth, my own life, my own beating heart beneath my ribs. This is enough. This has to be enough. I sit up. The cool air touches my face, my neck, the parts of me that were outside the furs. I shiver, not from cold exactly, from the shock of separation, of leaving the warm nest of sleep and entering the waking world. The fire is almost dead, just a few red coals glowing in the ash, but they are alive, still holding heat, still ready to catch and grow if I tend them properly. I slide my feet to the floor. The wooden planks are cold against my bare soles, cold and solid and real. I walk to the hearth, kneel on the stone, blow gently on the coals. They brighten, glow orange, red, yellow at the edges. I add twigs, dry birch bark that catches immediately. Small flames lick upward, dance and flicker and grow. More kindling. Larger pieces. The fire builds. Light spreads across the room. Chases the shadows back into the corners. Warms my face. My hands. Better. Much better. I sit back on my heels. Watch the flames take hold. There is something deeply satisfying about this, about bringing fire back from almost nothing, about coaxing light and warmth from a handful of dying coals. It feels like magic, like creation, like something women have done since the beginning of time, tending the fire, keeping the light alive, holding the darkness at bay. I add larger wood, oak, birch, good burning wood that will last through the morning, through the day if I tend it properly. The flames leap higher. The room grows bright, warm, welcoming. I stand, stretch, feel my body fully wake. The day is beginning. Whether I am ready or not, I go to the water bucket, dip my hands in the cold water, splash it on my face. The shock of it drives away the last of sleep. I am awake now, fully present, ready to begin. But begin what? The days when he was here had structure, purpose, things that needed doing, places to go, people to see. Now the day stretches ahead of me like an empty field, white, blank, waiting to be filled. I can fill it with anything or nothing. I can weave, or cook, or clean, or sit by the fire and do nothing at all. The choice is mine, all mine. There is freedom in this, and terror. I choose weaving. It is what I know, what my hands understand, what my body remembers even when my mind is elsewhere. I go to the loom, sit on the familiar bench, take up the shuttle. The half-finished cloth hangs before me, grey wool, plain and practical, and growing slowly under my hands. I begin, over, under, over, under. The rhythm takes me, parries me. My hands move without thought, following patterns learned in childhood, patterns my mother taught me, and her mother taught her. The shuttle passes through the threads. The beater presses each row tight. The cloth grows, thread by thread, row by row. I work in silence. The fire crackles behind me, warmth on my back, light on my work. Outside the world wakes. By, hear the sounds of the settlement stirring, doors opening, voices calling, the ordinary sounds of morning, but they seem distant, muffled, like sounds heard underwater. I am in my own world now, the world of thread and shuttle and growing cloth, the world of women's work, patient hands and steady rhythm, of making something from nothing, something useful, something that will last. The morning passes. I do not stop to eat, do not stop to rest. I weave until my shoulders ache, until my fingers are stiff from gripping the shuttle, until the pattern is so deep in my body that I could do it in my sleep. Over, under, like breathing, like heartbeat, like the rhythm of waves on the shore, essential, automatic, life-staining. The fire burns lower. I pause in my work, add wood, stir the coals. The flames leap up again. I return to the loom, to the shuttle, to the endless rhythm of making. But something has changed. The light is different now, softer, warmer. The quality of light that comes in the afternoon, when the sun is high but not harsh, when everything glows with golden possibility. I realize I am hungry, have been hungry for some time. My stomach is empty, hollow, asking to be filled. I set down the shuttle, stand, stretch my back, feel the muscles unknot, the vertebrae realign. I have been working for hours, lost in the rhythm, lost in the making. It feels good to have been lost, to have let time pass without counting it, without measuring it against his absence. I go to the food stores, dried fish, barley, apples from last autumn's harvest, simple things that need little preparation. I am not hungry for complicated food. I am hungry for sustenance, for fuel, for something to keep my body working while I learn to live in this new rhythm. This rhythm of one instead of two. I prepare a simple meal. Fish torn into flakes, bread, ale. I eat standing by the fire, chewing slowly, tasting, really tasting. When he was here, I often ate without thinking, focused on conversation, on his stories of the day, on plans for tomorrow. Now I taste the salt in the fish, the grain in the bread, the honey sweetness of the ale, each flavor distinct, clear, present. There is something to be said for eating alone, for the simple focus it allows, for the way it brings you back to your body, to the basic need for nourishment, to the simple pleasure of satisfying hunger. I finish eating, clean the wooden bowl, return it to its place on the shelf, everything in order, everything as it should be. The fire burns steady, the loom waits, the afternoon stretches ahead. I could return to weaving, could lose myself again in the rhythm, could let the hours pass unmarked. But I want something different now, something slower, something that asks less of my hands and more of my heart. I go to the sleeping bench, sit on the edge, look around the room, really look at the walls he built, at the hearth he laid stone by stone, at the chest where he keeps his winter clothes, at the pegs where his everyday cloak hangs waiting for his return. This is our home, the place we made together, the space that holds our life. Even without him, it holds our life, holds the memory of morning conversations, of evening meals shared by the fire, of nights when our bodies found each other in the darkness, of all the ordinary moments that make a marriage, that make a home. Lie back on the bench, pull one of the lighter furs over me, not to sleep, just to rest, to lie still and let the day settle around me. Let the house hold me. I close my eyes, listen to the fire, to the small sounds of wood settling, to my own breathing. In, out, steady, calm, alive. I think of him, not the leaving, not the empty space beside me, but him. The way he laughs at his own jokes, the way he frowns when he's concentrating on fine work, the way his hands move when he tells a story. Large hands, capable hands, hands that know how to shape wood and iron, how to guide a ship through rough water, how to touch my skin in the darkness. I miss his hands, miss the weight of them on my body, the way they knew every curve, every hollow, the way they made me feel beautiful, desired, alive. But I am still alive, still here, still breathing, still whole. His absence does not diminish me, does not make me less than I was. It simply makes me different, makes me the woman who waits, the woman who tends the fire, the woman who keeps the home ready for return. There is honor in this, strength in this, purpose in this. I am not just waiting, I am living, living fully in this moment, in this place, in this body that is mine alone. The afternoon light grows long, golden, rich. It slants through the smoke hole in thick beams. Dust motes dance in the light, tiny particles floating, spinning, catching the sun. Like snow, like stars, like the smallest pieces of life itself made visible. I watch them dance, hypnotized by their movement, their random beauty, their brief lives in the light. Time moves differently here, slowly, like honey, like water finding its way around stones, without the urgency of shared purpose, without the pressure of conversation, without the need to be anything other than what I am. A woman, alone, breathing. The fire crackles, a log shifts and sends up sparks. I watch them rise, bright against the shadow, brief, beautiful, gone, like moments, like days, like the time between leaving and returning. Brief, beautiful, but not gone, not really. This time is mine. These hours, these days, these weeks or months until he returns, they belong to me, to discover, to fill, to live. I sit up. The light is fading now. Evening is coming. The long evening of the northern autumn. Dark early, dark late, but not empty dark. Rich dark, full dark, dark that holds possibility. I tend the fire, add wood, prepare for night. Not the urgent preparation of storm, but the gentle preparation of routine, of settling in, making ready for rest. I light the oil lamp. The small flame flickers, steady, adds its warm light to the firelight. The room glows, golden, safe, mine. I go to the food stores again, prepare evening meal, something warm this time. Barley porridge cooked in the iron pot over the fire. Honey stirred in for sweetness. Dried apples for texture. Simple food, comfort food, food that warms from the inside. I eat slowly, savoring each spoonful, the creamy texture of the grain, the sweetness of the honey, the chewy bits of apple. Food tastes different when you eat it slowly, when you pay attention, when you let each bite register fully before taking the next. I finish eating, clean the pot, bank the fire for the night. Everything in order, everything prepared. The house settling into its evening rhythm. I sit by the hearth, in the chair he made for me, oak carved with simple patterns, strong, comfortable, built to last, built with love. I can feel it in the wood, in the way the arms curve to hold me, in the way the back supports my spine, in the smoothness of the finish. Love made manifest in wood and time and skill. I run my hands over the arms, feel the grain of the wood, the slight indentations where my hands have rested over the years, the way the chair has shaped itself to me, and I to it. This is what marriage is, not just passion, not just desires, but this slow shaping, this gradual molding of two lives into something that fits, something comfortable, something that supports, something that lasts. He is gone, but the shaping remains. The chair still holds me. The house still shelters me. The life we built still surrounds me. I am not starting over. I am continuing, living the life we made, tending it, keeping it warm and ready for his return. The fire burns lower. The oil lamp flickers. Night is settling in. Real night. Deep night. The kind of night that asks for rest, for quiet, for the gentle surrender of sleep. I rise from the chair, go to the sleeping bench, sit on the edge, Remove my shoes, my stockings, my outer dress, but not my underdress. Not tonight. Tonight I want the comfort of wool against my skin, the soft embrace of cloth, the feeling of being held, even if only by fabric. I lie back, pull the furs up to my chin, close my eyes, listen to the night sounds, the fire settling, the house creaking, the distant sound of wind in the trees, my own breathing, my own heartbeat, the steady rhythm of life continuing, of going on, of enduring. I am tired, not just from the day's work, but from the effort of learning. Learning to be alone, learning to fill space meant for two, learning to find peace in solitude. It is hard work, this learning, but I am doing it, one breath at a time, one moment at a time, one day at a time. The room dims, my hands are still, I sink into the warmth, I sleep. The third morning comes cold, colder than the others. I wake shivering under the furs, my breath visible in small puffs. The fire has died to nothing, just grey ash and the faintest smell of smoke. Winter is coming. I can feel it in the air, in the way the cold seeps through the walls, through the thatch, through every small gap in the house's defences against the weather. Soon there will be snow, ice on the water bucket, frost on the inside of the walls. The long dark months when the settlement turns inward, when we live by firelight and oil lamps, when we measure time not by the sun but by the rhythm of daily tasks, by the rhythm of survival. But we are not there yet, not quite. There is still time to prepare, to gather the last of the autumn stores, to make ready for the siege of winter. I rise quickly. My feet hit the cold floor, and I gasp, dance from foot to foot. The planks are like ice against my bare soles. I need warmth, need it now. I hurry to the hearth, kneel on the cold stone. There are still coals buried in the ash. I can feel their heat when I hold my hands toward the flames. Feel the heat on my palms, on my face. Life returning to cold flesh, blood flowing again. Warmth spreading through my body like wine. Better, much better. I add larger wood, oak, birch. Good burning wood that will chase the cold from every corner. The fire builds, roars, fills the room with dancing light and blessed heat. I sit back on my heels, let the warmth soak into me, into my bones, into the deep places that had grown cold in the night. This is better than any blanket, better than any cloak. This living warmth, this tamed fire that serves and warms and lights. I should dress, should put on my outer clothes, should begin the day's work. But I want to stay here a moment longer, close to the fire, close to the source of warmth. My underdress is thin, soft wool, well worn. It clings to my body like a second skin. Under it I wear nothing, just my own skin, my own warmth, my own body that has carried me through 26 winters, that will carry me through this one. I look down at myself, at the shape of my body beneath the wool, the curve of my breasts, the hollow of my waist, the swell of my hips, this body that he knows, that he has mapped with his hands in the darkness, that he has claimed and loved and left, but it is still mine, still here, still alive and warm and real. I stand, walk to the wooden chest where I keep my clothes, lift the heavy lid. The smell of wool rises up, of cedar, of the dried herbs I scatter among the fabric to keep the moths away. Lavender, rosemary, sweet grass, the smell of careful tending, of things kept safe and clean and ready. One, choose my warmest dress, thick wool, dyed deep blue with woad. It is heavy in my hands, substantial, the kind of dress that holds warmth close to the body, that turns away wind and cold and the bite of winter air. But I do not put it on, not yet. Instead, I set it aside, walk back to the fire, stand close to the flames, so close I can feel the heat like a presence, like a touch, like hands warming my skin. I close my eyes, let the heat soak into me, through the thin wool, through to my skin, to the places that are always cold, always seeking warmth. The fire crackles, pops, sends up sparks that dance and die. I open my eyes, watch the flames, their constant movement, their endless hunger, their beautiful destruction of wood and air, turning solid into light, cold into warmth, darkness into gold. There is something hypnotic about fire, something that calls to the deep places in the mind, the places that remember when fire was new, when it was magic, when it meant the difference between life and death. We are not so far from that, even now, even with our houses and our tools and our careful preparations. We are still just animals seeking warmth, still dependent on the tamed flame, still grateful for its gift. I step back from the fire. The air feels cool on my skin, not cold, just cool. The contrast makes me aware of my body, of where the heat touched me, of where the air touches me now. I look down at myself again, at the thin wool clinging to my skin. I can see the shape of my body through the fabric, the outline of my breasts, the shadow between them, the curve of my belly, the dark triangle where my legs meet, all of it visible, all of it mine. I have a good body, strong, healthy, well-fed, not the body of a girl, but the body of a woman who has worked, who has lived, who has loved and been loved. There are small scars, a burn on my forearm from a careless moment at the fire, a cut on my palm from a broken pot, the marks of living, of moving through the world, of using this body for its purposes, for work, for pleasure, for the daily business of being alive. I touch the burn scar, run my finger over the smooth, pale skin. It happened 3 summers ago. I was distracted, thinking of something else, reached too close to the flames. He heard me cry out, came running, plunged my arm into the water bucket, held it there while I sobbed, not from pain, from shock, from the sudden understanding of how fragile we are, how quickly things can change, how easily we can be hurt. He bandaged the burn with clean linen, changed the dressing every day, rubbed honey into the healing skin. Gentle hands, careful hands, hands that knew how to tend, how to heal, how to care for what they loved, The scar is barely visible now, just a small patch of skin that is slightly different, slightly smoother, a reminder, a mark, a story written in flesh. I have other marks, other stories. The small scar on my chin from falling as a child, the calluses on my hands from years of work, the stretch marks on my belly and breasts, faint silver lines that appeared when I was with child, before I lost the baby, before I learned that wanting is not always enough, that hoping does not always lead to having. I touch my belly, run my hand over the soft curve, feel the marks under my fingers, barely raised, barely there, but real, evidence of what was, what might have been, what still might be. Some day, when he returns, when we try again, when the gods are willing, the fire burns warm on my skin. I can feel it through the wool, through to my flesh, to the places that remember his touch, that remember being desired, being loved, being wanted. I miss that, miss being touched, miss the weight of hands on my body, the pressure of skin against skin, the way he would trace the lines of my body in the firelight, follow every curve, every hollow, map me with his fingertips like I was territory to be explored, land to be claimed, country to be known. I was his country, and he was mine. We learned each other's landscapes, each other's weathers, each other's seasons of plenty and want. Now I am my own country, unexplored, uncharted, waiting. I look toward the wooden shelf where we keep the oil, whale oil in a clay jar, thick, rich, good for many things, for lamps, for cooking, for waterproofing leather, for warming cold skin. He used to rub it into my shoulders when they ached from weaving. Warm hands, slick with oil, working the tension from my muscles, the knots from my neck. His touch firm, sure, knowing exactly where to press, how much pressure to use, how to make the pain dissolve under his fingers. I could do that for myself. Poop could warm the oil by the fire, could rub it into my own skin, my own shoulders, my own neck. There is no shame in it, no wrongness. This body needs tending, needs care, needs the kind of attention that keeps it supple, warm, ready. I go to the shelf, take down the jar, heavy, full, the oil dark gold in the firelight. I remove the wooden stopper. The smell rises up, rich, marine, the smell of deep water and creatures that swim in the cold dark, but also warm, nourishing, the smell of life distilled to its essence. I set the jar by the fire, let it warm while I prepare. I need a cloth, something soft, something clean. I go to the chest, find a square of linen, worn thin from many washings, soft as skin, perfect. I return to the fire, test the oil with my finger, warm now, not hot, just pleasantly warm, body warm, perfect. I dip the cloth in the oil, watch it soak up the golden liquid, heavy with warmth, with richness, with a promise of comfort. I sit on the stool by the fire, close to the flames, close to the warmth. I pull my underdress up over my knees, over my thighs, bunch it around my waist. My legs are bare now, pale in the firelight, the skin soft, unmarked except for a small bruise on my shin where I bumped into the loom. I begin with my feet, my poor, cold feet that touched the icy floor. I rubbed the oil into the skin, between my toes, over the arch, around the heel. The oil is warm, slick. My skin drinks it up, grows soft under my fingers, supple, alive. I work slowly, thoroughly. There is no hurry, no need to rush. This is my time, my body, my pleasure to take. I move to my ankles, my calves. The oil makes my skin gleam in the firelight, golden, warm, beautiful. I have good legs, strong from walking, from climbing, from the daily work of living. They have carried me far, will carry me farther. I rub oil into the muscles, feel them relax under my touch, feel the tension of cold and worry dissolve. My knees, my thighs, the skin here is softer, more sensitive. The oil feels different here, more intimate, more like touch, like being touched. I close my eyes, let myself feel it, the warmth, the slickness, the simple pleasure of skin being cared for, of body being tended. This is not wrong, this is not shameful, this is necessary, this is good. I am not betraying him by taking pleasure in my own touch. I am keeping myself ready, keeping myself whole, keeping myself alive and warm and real. For when he returns, I open my eyes, look down at my legs, at the way the oil makes them shine. Beautiful legs. My legs, part of the body he loves, part of the body I am learning to love, to tend, to honor. I stand. Let my dress fall back down. The thin wool clings to my oiled skin, feels different now, softer, more like a caress than clothing. I take up the cloth again, more oil. I pull the dress up over my arms, over my head, let it fall to the floor. I am naked now, bare in the firelight, my skin warm from the oil, from the flames, from the simple act of caring for myself. I look down at my body, really look, without shame, without judgment, just looking, seeing, appreciating. My breasts are full, heavy, the nipples dark in the golden light. They tighten in the cool air, respond to the change in temperature, to the touch of air on skin. I rub oil into them, gentle circles. The skin is soft here, sensitive. The oil makes it gleam, makes it beautiful. I am beautiful, not because someone else says so, not because I am desired, but because I am alive, because I am here, because I am taking care of what is mine, my stomach, my waist, my hips, all of it gleaming now, all of it warm, all of it mine. I turn, look over my shoulder, at my reflection in the polished metal mirror on the wall. See the curve of my back, my shoulders, the way the firelight plays across my skin. I am a woman, complete, whole, enough. I reach back, rub oil into my shoulders, my neck, as far as I can reach. The oil is warm, my hands are warm. Everything is warm now, warm and golden and alive. I put on my underdreads, The wool slides over my oiled skin, clings, caresses, feels like being held, like being loved, like being cherished. I am cherished by him, but also by me, by this careful tending, this gentle attention, this honoring of the body that carries me through the world. I dress fully now, the warm wool dress, my belt, my shoes, but underneath I am still golden, still warm, still gleaming with oil and care, and the simple pleasure of being alive, in my own skin, in my own body, in my own life. The day stretches ahead, full of possibility, full of tasks to be done, but also full of this warmth, this care, this gentle attention to the body that is mine, the body that will carry me through this day and the next, and all the days until he returns. I am ready now for whatever comes, for cold, for loneliness, for the long wait, because I am whole, I am warm, I am enough. The room dims, my hands are still, I sink into the warmth, I sleep. The fourth night comes with wind, not the gentle stirring of autumn air, but real wind, wind with teeth, wind that speaks of winter coming fast. I lie under the reindeer hide and listen to the way it moves through the settlement, between the houses, over the roofs, through the gaps in the walls. It has a voice, this wind, a language all its own. It whispers secrets, tells stories, parries news from far places, places where he might be. I close my eyes, listen more carefully, try to hear what it is saying. The wind rattles the door, tests the leather hinges, pushes against the wooden frame like something trying to get in, like something that has traveled far and needs shelter, needs warmth, needs rest. I know the feeling. The house creaks around me, the wooden beams settling, adjusting to the pressure, to the push and pull of air against timber. These are good sounds, familiar sounds, the sounds of a house that knows how to bend without breaking, how to give without failing, how to stand strong against whatever comes. He built this house well, with his own hands, his own knowledge, his own understanding of wood and weather and what it takes to make a shelter that lasts. Every beam placed with care, every joint fitted tight, every board chosen for its strength, its ability to hold, to protect, to endure. I am safe here, safe in the house he made, safe in the walls that hold me, safe in the space that is ours, even when he is not here to share it. The wind gusts, stronger now. I can feel it through the walls, feel the house respond, flex, accommodate, like a ship riding waves, like something alive, learning to move with forces larger than itself. I pull the hide closer around me, reindeer hide, thick, warm, weatherproof. It smells of the animal it came from, of wild places, of running across snow under northern lights, of freedom, of life lived in the open, under stars, under wind, under sky. Now it keeps me warm, keeps the cold at bay, keeps my body heat close to my skin where it belongs. I am grateful for this hide, for the reindeer that gave its life, For the hunters who brought it home, prepare to fall the women who prepared it, scraped it clean, worked it soft, made it ready to serve, protect, to comfort. There is a chain of care here, a line of hands that touched this hide, that prepared it, that brought it to me, to this moment, to this need. I am part of that chain, part of that care. When I use this hide, when I am grateful for its warmth, when I honor what it gives, the wind shifts, changes direction. Now it comes from the north, from the ice, from the places where winter lives. It carries cold, real cold, the kind that kills. But I am safe from it, safe in my house, under my hide, in my bed, in my warmth. The fire burns low in the hearth. I can see the red glow through my eyelids, feel the warmth it sends across the room. Not strong warmth now, gentle warmth, the kind that lasts through the night, that keeps the cold from settling in, that makes the house livable, survivable. Good pie should sleep, should let the day go, let the night take me. But the wind has stories, and I want to hear them. I lie still, listen, let the sound wash over me, through me. The wind speaks of distance, of places far from here, of mountains and forests and wide waters, of storms building, of weather coming, of change, always change. It speaks of ships, of sails full of wind, per vessels riding the waves toward distant shores, toward ports with strange names, toward markets full of silver and amber and silk, toward adventure, toward profit, toward the kind of life that calls to men, that pulls them away from hearth and home, away from wives, away from the quiet life. Is his ship out there in this wind, riding these gusts, fighting these waves? I try not to think of it, try not to imagine water washing over the deck, wind tearing at the sail, men clinging to the rigging, fighting for their lives. But the thoughts come anyway, unbidden, unwelcome, real. I know the sea, know its moods, its sudden changes, its capacity for violence, for destruction, for taking what it wants without asking, without warning, without mercy. I have seen the wives who wait, who watch the horizon, who listen for news that never comes, who learn to live with not knowing, with hoping, with the terrible possibility of loss. I do not want to be one of them, but I might be, already might be. The wind could be bringing news right now, news I do not want to hear, cannot bear to hear, will not let myself imagine. I pull the hide over my head, block out the sound, the stories, the possibilities, but I cannot block out my own thoughts, my own fears, my own understanding of how quickly things can change, how easily love can become loss, how fragile we all are, how little control we have. I breathe into the hide, warm air, my own air, my own life, still here, still breathing, still alive, whatever is happening out there, whatever news the wind carries, I am still here, still whole, still breathing. That is enough. For now, that has to be enough. I lower the hide, let the air touch my face, cool air, clean air, air that carries the scent of coming winter, puff snow, of ice, of the long sleep that comes to the land. Every year, without fail, the great rest, the great pause, when everything slows, when everything waits, when everything endures, I can endure, I can wait, I can rest in the not knowing, in the space between departure and return, in the long middle time, the time that is mine. The wind tells other stories too, not just of danger, not just of loss, but of life continuing, of seasons turning, of the world going on. It speaks of geese flying south, of bears preparing for winter sleep, of trees letting go their leaves, of the great wheel turning, as it always has, as it always will, life and death, coming and going, presence and absence, all part of the same pattern, the same rhythm, the same dance. I am part of that dance, part of that rhythm. My waiting is part of it. My longing is part of it. My love is part of it. Even my fear, all of it part of the great turning, the great continuing, the great yes that life says to itself, over and over, in wind and wave, in seed and leaf, in breath and heartbeat, in the simple fact of being here, being alive, being part of it all. The wind gusts again, stronger, the house shudders, holds, stands firm, like me, like all of us who wait, who tend the fires, who keep the home ready, who believe in return, in reunion, in the possibility of tomorrow being different from today, better than today, full of the presence we long for. I listen to the wind in the rafters, the way it moves through the thatch, through the spaces between things, through the gaps we cannot seal, cannot close, cannot protect against. It finds its way in, always finds its way in, brings the outside inside, brings change, brings news, brings the reminder that we are not separate, not isolated, not alone. We are connected to the wind, to the weather, to the world beyond our walls, to each other, even across distance, even across water, even across the space between presence and absence. Love travels on the wind, longing travels on the wind. The invisible threads that bind us, that hold us, that refuse to break, no matter how far, no matter how long, no matter what. I send my thoughts on the wind, my love, my hope, my fierce wish for safety, for fair weather, for favorable winds, for whatever protection can be given. From here, from this distance, from this bed where I lie waiting, the wind takes them, carries them, bears them away into the night, toward whatever place he is, whatever sea he sails, whatever sky covers him. This is what I can do. This is how I can help. By sending love on the wind, by believing it will find him, by trusting the invisible connections, the ones that cannot be seen, cannot be proven, but are real nonetheless, real as breath, real as heartbeat, real as the wind that carries all our longings, all our hopes, all our desperate prayers, into the night, into the storm, into the vast unknowing. The wind begins to quiet, not stopping, just gentling, settling into a steadier rhythm, a breathing rhythm, in and out, like sleep, like rest, like the natural slowing that comes at the end of things, at the end of storms, at the end of days, at the end of waiting. My breathing slows too, matches the wind, matches the house, matches the settling night. I am part of it all, part of the wind, part of the night, part of the great breathing, the great rhythm, the great dance of being alive, in this moment, in this bed, in this house, in this skin, in this life that is mine. Whatever else is happening, whatever else is true, this is true. I am here. I am breathing. I am alive. I am love. Even across distance, even across water, even across the terrible space of not knowing, I am loved, and I love, and love travels on the wind, travels and finds, travels and holds, travels and brings us home, always brings us home, to this, to here, to now, to the simple truth of being, the simple gift of breath, the simple miracle of another moment, another heartbeat, another chance. The wind whispers now, be soft, gentle, like a lullaby, like a mother's voice, like the sound love makes, when it speaks without words, when it comforts without touch, when it holds without hands. I let it hold me, let it rock me, let it sing me toward sleep, toward rest, toward the deep peace that comes when we stop fighting, when we stop fearing, when we let ourselves be carried by wind, by love, by the great current that flows through all things and brings us always, always home. The room dims. My hands are still. I sink into the warmth. I sleep. 5 days now. 5 mornings of waking alone. 5 evenings of banking the fire by myself. 5 nights of listening to my own breathing in the dark. I am learning the rhythm of it. This solitary life, this life of one instead of two. It has its own music, its own pace, its own quiet beauty. I wake before dawn, not from cold this time, but from readiness, from the body's own, knowing that rest is finished, that the day is ready to begin. I lie still for a moment, under the reindeer hide, under the wool blankets, under the weight of warmth I have built around myself. The fire burned through the night. I can see the glow, feel the gentle heat, smell the sweet scent of oak coals. The room is warm, not just not cold, but truly warm, welcoming, ready. I have learned to tend fire properly, to build it so it lasts, so it serves, so it gives what is needed, when it is needed. This is knowledge, hard-won knowledge, the kind that comes from doing, from trying, from failing and trying again, from learning to listen to what the fire needs, what the wood wants, what the coals are saying. I rise. My feet find the floor. Still cool, but not shocking. Not the brutal cold of that first morning. Just the gentle cool of wood in autumn. Manageable, bearable, normal. I add wood to the fire. Not urgently, not desperately. but with the calm competence of someone who knows what she is doing, who has done this before, who will do it again. The flames leap higher. Light fills the room. Golden light, warm light, the light of home, of safety, of another day beginning. I stretch, feel my body wake, my spine lengthen, my muscles remember themselves. This body that has carried me through 5 days, 5 nights, 5 cycles of sleeping and waking and living. It is a good body, a strong body, a body that knows how to endure, how to adapt, how to find comfort in changed circumstances, how to be enough, all by itself. I dress slowly, not from cold, not from hurry, but from the simple pleasure of it, the pleasure of choosing, of putting on clothes that feel right, that fit well, that make me feel like myself. My underdress, soft from many washings, familiar against my skin. My wool dress, the blue one, the one that brings out the color of my eyes. Not that anyone will see, but I will know, will feel beautiful, will honor my own body with beautiful things. My belt, my shoes, each piece chosen with care, with attention, with the kind of love we usually reserve for others. But that belongs to us too, belongs to me, this careful tending, this gentle attention, this honoring of the self. The day stretches ahead, not empty now, not frightening, but full, full of possibility, full of tasks I choose, full of time that is mine, to spend as I wish, to fill as I see fit, to enjoy. I have learned this art of solitary living, this skill of being enough, all by myself. I go to the loom, my loom. The cloth is growing, row by row, day by day. It is good cloth, even cloth, strong and well made, the kind that will last, that will serve, that will keep someone warm. Maybe him when he returns, maybe me while I wait. It does not matter. Good cloth is always needed, always useful, always a gift to the future, to the time when it will be wanted, needed, treasured. I sit at the loom, take up the shuttle, begin the day's work. Over, under, over, under. The rhythm takes me, carries me, holds me in its steady pattern, its reliable comfort. This is meditation. This is prayer. This is the body's own wisdom, expressed in thread and tension, in the growing cloth, in the satisfaction of making, of creating, of bringing something new into the world, something useful, something beautiful, something that was not there before, and now is, because of these hands, because of this body, because of this life, this quiet, productive, meaningful life. I weave until my shoulders ache, until my fingers are stiff, until the pattern is so deep in my bones. I could do it sleeping, could do it dreaming, could do it with my eyes closed and my heart elsewhere. The cloth grows steadily, surely, like everything that matters, like love, like trust, like the patient accumulation of days into weeks, into months, into a life. I set down the shuttle, stand, stretch, feel my body unknot, realign, remember itself. The morning, is gone. I can tell by the light, by the angle of sun through the smoke hole, by the way the shadows fall. Time moves differently when you are alone, flows like honey, like water finding its way, without the urgency of shared schedules, without the pressure of conversation, without the need to match your rhythm to someone else's. You can move at your own pace, think your own thoughts, be entirely yourself. There is freedom in this, deep freedom, the kind that comes rarely in a life shared, in a life lived with others. This is a gift, this solitude, this space, this time, even if it came at a cost, even if it was not chosen, even if it carries the weight of longing, of missing, of waiting. It is still a gift, still precious, still worth receiving fully, worth living completely, worth honoring. I prepare food, simple food, food for one, but prepared with care, with attention, with the same love I would give to feeding him, to feeding guests, to feeding anyone I cared for. I care for me. I am worthy of care, of good food, of attention, of the small kindnesses we all deserve, all need, all should give ourselves, especially when no one else is there to give them. I eat slowly, tasting, appreciating, grateful for the nourishment, for the sustenance, for the simple pleasure of satisfying hunger, of giving the body what it needs, what it asks for, what it deserves. The afternoon comes, warm despite the season, one of those golden days that autumn sometimes gives, as a gift, as a blessing, as a reminder that beauty is still possible, still present, still worthy of attention. I open the door, step outside. The air is soft, gentle, touched with the smell of leaves, Perth, of the last warmth before winter. The settlement is quiet. Most of the men are gone, most of the women busy, with their own tasks, their own lives, their own ways of managing, of coping, of continuing. I am not the only one, not the only woman alone, not the only heart waiting, but I am the only me, the only one living my particular story, my particular version of love and loss, of presence and absence, of the great dance. We all dance, each in our own way, each with our own steps, each with our own music. I walk to the shore, not to look for ships, not to scan the horizon, but simply to be by the water, under the sky, in the wind, in the world. The water is calm today, blue-green, peaceful, lapped by gentle waves that whisper against the pebbles, that speak of distant places, but softly, kindly, without urgency, without threat. I sit on a rock, warm from the sun, smooth from countless tides. I close my eyes, listen to the water, to the rhythm of waves, to the eternal conversation between sea and shore, between water and stone, between the moving and the still. It is a conversation without words, without need for words, a conversation of touch, of sound, of presence. The water speaks of journeys, of places seen, of distances traveled, but also of return, of coming back, of the endless cycle. that brings all things back to where they started, back home. I breathe in the salt air, the clean smell, the smell of vastness, of possibility, of life continuing in all its forms, in all its places, in all its beautiful, terrible, wonderful ways. I open my eyes, look out over the water, not searching now, not hoping for sails, just looking, just seeing, just being present to this moment, this view, this gift of sight, of being alive. To witness beauty, the water stretches to the horizon, meets the sky, in a line so clean, so perfect, it seems drawn by the hand of a God who understands proportion, balance, the way things should be, but are not always, but sometimes are, like today, like this moment, like this gift of perfect peace. I sit until the sun moves, until the shadows change, until the rock beneath me begins to cool by, until my body tells me it is time to go back, to return to the house, to the fire, to the waiting. But different waiting now, not desperate waiting, not anxious waiting, but patient waiting, confident waiting, the waiting of someone who knows that what is meant to return will return in its own time, in its own way, in its own season. And until then, there is this life, this day, this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this gift of being alive, of being here, of being me. I stand, brush the dust from my dress, turn away from the water, walk back up the path, to the settlement, to my house, to my door, to my life, the life that is mine. Whether he is here or not, whether the waiting is long or short, whether the return comes soon or late or never, this life is mine. This day is mine. This moment is mine, and I will live it fully, completely, with all the love, all the attention, all the care I would give to anyone I love, including myself, especially myself. The house welcomes me, warm, bright, ready. The fire burns steady. The loom waits. The evening stretches ahead, full of possibility, full of peace, full of the quiet contentment that comes when you stop fighting what is and start embracing what you have, what you are, what you can become, in the space between longing and receiving, between asking and having, between the dream and the reality. There is a life to be lived, a life that is not just waiting, but being fully, being completely, being beautifully human. I prepare the evening meal with care, with attention, with the same love I have learned to give myself in all things, in small things, in daily things, in the ordinary magic of living well, of tending well, of tending well, of being well, in this place, in this place, in this moment. That is all we ever have, all we ever need, all that is ever, truly ours. I eat slowly, gratefully, peacefully, tasting each bite, savoring each moment, each flavor, each small pleasure, each tiny gift the day offers when we pay attention, when we receive what is given with open hands, open heart, open mind. The evening comes, gentle, golden, touched with the last warm light of autumn before the long dark of winter. But we are not there yet. We are here now, in this golden time, this blessed time, this time that is ours, to spend, to savor, to live. I sit by the fire, in the chair he made, the chair that holds me, that knows my shape, that welcomes me home, to myself, to this place, to this life. I take up my needle, my thread, the mending that always waits. Small tears, loose hems, places where wear shows through, where attention is needed, where care can make things whole again, better than before, stronger, more beautiful, for having been tended, repaired, loved back to wholeness. This is what I do, with clothes, with the house, with the fire, with myself, mend, tend, love back to wholeness, to strength, to beauty. The needle moves in and out, like breathing, like the waves, like the rhythm of a life well lived, a life of small attentions, small kindnesses, small acts of love that add up to something large, something whole, something beautiful. The fire burns lower, the room grows dim, but not dark, not empty, just quiet, just peaceful, just ready for rest, for sleep, for the gentle surrender of day to night, of effort to ease, of consciousness to dreams. I set aside the mending, bank the fire, prepare for bed with the same care, the same attention I give to everything now, everything in this life that is mine, this body that is mine, this time that is mine, to spend, to cherish, to live fully, completely, without reservation, without apology, without waiting for permission, to be happy, to be content, to be enough, all by myself. I undress slowly, fold each garment with care, place it where it belongs, in order, in readiness, for tomorrow, for the next day. For whatever comes, I am ready. For whatever comes, my body is ready, strong, healthy, well-tended. My heart is ready, full, open, capable of love, of joy, of sorrow, of whatever life brings. My spirit is ready, calm, centered, at peace with what is, with what was, with what might be. I slip into my sleeping dress, soft wool, worn thin, comfortable, like a second skin, like being held by something that knows me, that accepts me, that loves me exactly as I am. I climb into bed, under the furs, under the blankets, under the weight of warmth, of comfort, of safety. The bed that is mine, the bed that holds me, the bed where I sleep and dream and wake and begin again, each day each night, each moment of this life that is mine to live, to love, to cherish. I lie back against the pillows, soft, supportive, ready to hold me through the night, through whatever dreams come, through whatever rest is needed, is deserved, is given. I close my eyes, feel my body, relax, release, let go of the day, of the effort, of the small struggles and large joys that make up a life. Let go and sink into softness, into warmth, into the deep peace that comes when you know you are exactly where you belong, exactly who you are meant to be, exactly enough, all by yourself. The fire crackles, soft, gentle, like a lullaby, like a mother's voice, like the sound love makes when it speaks without words, when it holds without hands, when it comforts without touch. I am loved by the fire, by the house, by the bed, by the night, by this life, by myself, by the great current that flows through all things, that connects all things, that brings us always home, to this, to here, to now, to the simple truth of being alive, of being present, of being enough. My breathing slows, deepens, matches the rhythm of the night, of the house, of the world, settling into rest, into peace, into the great quiet that holds us all. I am part of it, part of the quiet, part of the peace, part of the great settling into rest, into dreams, into the deep sleep that heals, that restores, that prepares us for tomorrow, for whatever comes, for the gift of waking to another day, another chance, another moment of this beautiful, difficult, precious life. The room dims, my hands are still. I sink into the warmth. I sleep, and in my sleep I dream of ships returning, of doors opening, of arms reaching, of love coming home. But even if the dreams do not come true, even if the ships do not return, even if the doors stay closed, I have this life, this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this gift of being alive, awake, aware, enough, more than enough, exactly what I need to be, to live, to love, to continue. The longhouse holds me, the fire warms me, the night cradles me, and the first sleep, deep, peaceful, complete, sleep.d, my hands over them, still alive, still ready to catch. I blow gently, add the finest kindling, birch bark, dry moss, twigs thin as needles. The coals glow, brighten, catch. Small flames lick upward. I feed them carefully. Larger twigs, small branches, building the fire slowly, properly. The flames grow. Light spreads across the room. Warmth follows. I hold the warmth, the firelight, the weight of wool on my skin, the silence inside the house, the memory of his hands, my breath steady, my belly still. I curl inward. I sleep